Cosplayers, what's one cosplay you will never do again and why? M. Bison. My costume caught on fire going too near a heat source and severely burned my legs, lower back, and butt. Ryuk or any Shinigami in Death Note, because it was a lot of work for people to just think you were from Kiss. Not exactly cosplay, but I went to a Halloween party as Waldo once. Terrible idea. Everyone wants you hiding in the back of their photos, and you hear how I found you at least 800 times. Never again. Professor X. The only reason I chose it was because I had torn my LCL and still wanted to attend the event, so I rented a wheelchair so I could get around the event. So many people came up and sat in my lap thinking I was just cosplaying as him. Thank goodness my friend's parents lived close and we went and grabbed ice packs that we threw on my knee so people would quit doing it. Creeper form Minecraft for Halloween. I decided to not cut arm holes because creepers have none. Also the costume went over my legs and I had limited mobility. Slenderman. I got really into the craze back in the day, being a 6 feet 3 inches skinny dude, and I thought of myself highly for having been a Marble Hornets fan car before the game was ever released. The issue is that I have a big head, nose, so through the morph suit you just see all my features, including my dark brown hair and smooshed nose. I ended up having a sore nose for days, and the soles of my morph suit were extremely darkened from walking around in platform boots for hours on end. Rorschach. I saw almost nothing under that mask and couldn't enjoy anything. Dr. Roxo. Nobody wants to see that. Kakakaye. Real reason is while fun I have no place to put anything. No pockets, nowhere to store cash. And if it's cold, forget about it. Also, seriously, nobody wants to see that. I kept it screen accurate. No kid friendly steps. And I wore it to age appropriate events. Graffiti skin tracer from Overwatch. Paint kept transferring from the gas mask onto my face and my mask was literally dripping water from my breathing. It was hot and stuffy and gross. One of the 300. I'll never be in that kind of shape again. Recruit from Rainbow Six Siege. Everyone thought I was a terrorist and had to leave. Faye Valentine for Cowboy Bebop. Not because of awkward guy comments, but because of other lady cosplayers that would come up to me and talk about how Faye is a good starter cosplay, because I guess it's not intricate enough. I got tired of the condescension. Stormtrooper. It was custom made to fit me and I was so uncomfortable in it. It was hot and I couldn't see. I also would be lucky if I came out of it without cutting myself. Darth Vader. Wore it 4 years in 2-hour stints. Vision is awful and zero skin is shown anywhere, so it's hot. Real hot. Lots of wiring for lights and sound mean there's always something that can, and does, go wrong. Lots of kids coming up and randomly pressing buttons on the chest. Plus the cape is hard to control. Now I keep him permanently displayed on a 6 feet 5 inches mannequin. I use a wheelchair and I was a Dalek 1 year. It was very popular and I had a lot of people wanting pictures. But I couldn't fit through doorways and kept hitting people. Princess Zelda. I got a lot of compliments, but also an uncomfortable number of guys kept trying to flirt with me. Might have been even weirder if I wasn't a straight dude. I once went to a Halo convention as Church, from Red vs. Blue. Midway through the con, I had one of my friends pretend to kill me. I felt so bad for him, because everyone was screaming at him, "You killed Church, you team killing fricted. If I ever do it again, I'll claim to be Epsilon instead." Lucy Heartfilia from Fairy Tail. So, the costume itself wasn't the problem. It's pretty simple to be fair, but it had other issues. Firstly, I have small boobs and the character doesn't. The amount of people that mentioned this was unreal. Secondly, the character wears a very short skirt. I had a few older men follow me and harass me because I was wearing it. Also it was mid-October in the north of Scotland, so it was freezing cold. Lord Business from the Lego movie, or actually any Lego character for that matter. The head was too heavy and I could barely move. Snow White. I wore it to a major comic convention and people would not let me walk. Parents were literally shoving their children into my arms and making me take pictures with their kids. Kids were flocking to me, only nice part, and parents were pushing each other around to take a pic with me and their child first. I was trying to take the shuttle to the convention and I had a small crowd around me that were barely shift so I could get into the shuttle. My boyfriend at the time had to literally yank me and run away into the shuttle, because we almost missed it. The same thing proceeded to happen in the shuttle, off the shuttle and attempting to walk to the convention, and at the convention. After 2 more hours of this I demanded we go back to the hotel so I could change and actually enjoy the convention. The worst part was people shouting, "It's Cinderella. It's Sleeping Beauty. No, people know I'm Snow White, dang it." No face from Spirited Away. At least not in public. I was accused of racism, asked to leave the subway, then taken aside by a very angry subway security employee and had to frantically find a photo of No Face to show him to avoid more trouble. In fairness, he then was very concerned and helpful and advised me to take the costume off before I got myself beaten up by someone. My hometown has a very big Arabic population so I can see why they thought I was being an asshole. What with the black cloak, black paint on my arms and the gold painted pebbles in my hands. Shadow the Hedgehog. It was a mistake and I don't think I need to explain further. Edna, from The Incredibles. I am a short gothic lady and at the time had the same haircut as her. Went as her for a Halloween party and it's my nickname ever since, especially when I'm angry. I freaking hate it. Made a pretty great Solera of Astora costume with real chainmail and armor and holy shit after 6 hours of wearing that heavy ass metal my back, shoulders, and arms were frickin' wrecked. Master Chief. Every Halloween at school I would wear an over-the-top costume and for my senior year I wanted to go above and beyond. So I worked overtime to buy Halo 4 Master Chief armor. Only problem was that the armor pieces were made of plastic so I couldn't sit completely down without breaking the thigh pieces. So I had to go through every class squatting over my seat, instead of actually sitting in it. My legs were killing me at the end of the day. Also my costume was very loud. The sound of plastic rubbing against each other was terrible. Now I usually go for smaller cosplay. This year I went as a vault dweller and I could actually move and stuff. With Dalmaka. I felt like my tits were gonna pop out of that suit at any second. And the body paint. Tattoos were always rubbing off cause of the suit and armor. Also, someone bumped into me and broke the end piece of my gun and a piece of my armor. It was so uncomfortable. Never again. Any version of Harley Quinn. Nobody knows how to behave around Holly. Not thirsty Harley fanboys. Not Joker cosplayers that are a little too in character. Not neckbeards who want to quiz you on your Harley knowledge. Not other Harley cosplayers who have an issue with what version of Harley you picked or how accurate your cosplay is. Every Harley I've met has been given hell for their cosplay for one reason or another. I only did Lego Harley twice and got minimal shit for it. But I've met multiple Suicide Squad Harleys who were literally suicide baited online and pushed around at cons by people who hated the character. Never again. The lusty Argonian maid. For obvious reasons. The costume was too much for me and now I'll live my life making inappropriate Todd Howard jokes, all while dressed as a seductive Argonian. Charlie Chaplin. He's easily mistaken for another guy. Nami from One Piece. It was a bikini top. Had a nip slip, which wasn't too bad, and a dude jumped in front of me, let me know, and covered me while I fixed it. The problem is that he then spent the next 2 days thanking me for the experience. Bro, one thank you is weird. 2 days? Hamilton. Turns out prop guns look like guns that are illegal. Especially dueling pistols. Ariel. I love the Little Mermaid and I love the costume I made for her mermaid form. But it's just been a cosplay that creeps have ruined for me. I literally got to the point of having to pose-aid my bikini top to my chest and wear pasties in case someone tried to rip it off. I have been groped, had hands stuck down the front and back of my costume, been kissed, and have heard all of the sea-related dirty jokes in existence. I officially decided to stop after one incident at a local convention, where someone was trying to pull off my top and I slapped him hard enough for him to be thrown off balance. He fell into the water feature and hit his head. Police had to be called to figure out if it was self-defense or assault. I hung up my seashell bra and tail after that day. Mystique. I was fully clothed and 17 and yet the internet was creepy. Would totally do Nigel Thornberry Sailor Moon again though. Batman. Some kid pulled my cape and it took my helmet and back piece out. They were all one piece of armor and I couldn't put them back together. Motoko from Ghost in the Shell in her sack full tech suit gear. Full body suit with Gore-Tex and ended up getting heat stroke in the first 30 minutes. Haven't worn it since. Star Wars cosplays are frustrating to do. Because no matter what character you are, you'll get some dipshit who starts a conversation with you and decides to go in depth on why Disney ruined their childhood. If someone is expressing their passion for something, don't complain about the merits of it to them. No joke, I cosplayed as Kanan Jarrus, the Jedi Knight character in Rebels, and someone decided to stop me in a hallway at a convention and give what I can only describe as a lecture on why the Clone Wars is better than Rebels, while I was cosplaying a freaking Rebels character. Had the same thing happen when I did a Rogue One cosplay, Krennic, where someone tried to convince me that Revenge of the Sith is better, despite my repeated attempts to just say okay and bow out of the conversation. I'm working on a Mandalorian cosplay now and already dreading what I'll have to hear next. Let people enjoy things. Never again will I cosplay full anime plate armor. I went as Gilgamesh from Fate's Stay Night, all 3D printed, 8 unrelenting hours trapped in a plastic cocoon. Skin unable to breathe, pinching, serious chafing, huge welts and blisters all over, and on the way home I turned in a funny way, snapped went the armor, and by that point I had enough. I took everything off, threw it in the nearest bin and made the remaining journey home barefoot in cycling shorts and a red cape. Daredevil. I couldn't see shit. I dressed as Link and got the normal "oh hi Zelda," which I think is funny, and laughed it off, but also got a lot of nerdy guys questioning me about my dedication to The Legend of Zelda. Shit like, "You're not a true fan if you didn't play, insert their fav Zelda game here," and if I stated that I have indeed played it, they would then question every detail about the game to prove it. A girl could dress up as anyone and get her ass ate though, honestly.